All right, so can you tell me your name, what you do for the university and everything?
My name is Dr. Dijana-Oliver, and I'm the assistant professor at Queen's University, Department of Psychiatry. I have been in that role since 1991. During my daily teaching and rounds at Kingston General Hospital and Queen's University, I have every 4 to 6 weeks new residents and medical students rotating through the service that I provide on an inpatient unit as well as in the emergency. I also teach emergency residents as well as family doctors. There are quite a few international students, some of them who have been born in different countries, graduated in those countries, and then came to do their residency training or medical school in Canada. As well, we have Canadians who have, for different reasons, traveled and lived in countries abroad where they got their degree and then came back to do the residency training back in Canada.
Okay. Out of these students, have any of them talked about their key motivations for going to university abroad?
Well, some of them, as I said, lived there already. So when they were in those universities, they have some of the advantages are that they brought they understand the cultural differences. As you know, Canada is a multicultural society, so it is quite helpful to have had experiences and certainly living in those cultures so that you can bring that here to Canada and apply them when you deal with these, especially in my field of psychiatry, because you have to be able to communicate, you have to be able to understand them as from their cultural perspectives.
Okay. Do you feel that students that go away from their home country and study internationally get more value in their education and overall time at university?
I think any travel and living abroad in different societies and cultures is extremely beneficial. Even just traveling and spending weeks and months in a certain culture is helpful. Just coming from one country to another, as I said, could provide some advantages, but I think the more people have traveled and exposed themselves to different people and understand them would be certainly a huge benefit in my eyes.
Okay. And out of the students, have any of them talked about like what makes a university appealing, or what do you believe makes a university appealing for these students?
Specifically for medical schools, there's a lot of them look at the experiences rankings. Are they more hands-on? Do they get to actually do things, or is it more theoretical? So those would be some of the issues that if somebody was looking for a specific medical school, that I would assume they would look for. And I think the same thing, if we're accepting students from those countries, we would want to know that they have the latest technology, the latest understandings, to be able to do job at a level where we are in Canada.
That makes sense. Out of kind of like the students that come here, have you seen any of them have any issues while they were abroad, like coming from like a different culture and like integrating into this society?
Well, there are a few examples. We've had some even issues with students coming from the Arab countries where, for example, one of them wouldn't want to touch or shake my hand because that would be quite inappropriate. So that then would lead to how would they be treating a female patient without touching them or talking to them in a certain way. So we have seen those things. We see how some of the beliefs may affect with regards to substance use or consumption or any conflictual gender issues, right, or any of those things. So it's very important to understand, even for them, to be able to assimilate themselves in a culture, for example, in Canada, and what the expectations are.
Okay, that makes sense. Would you say a lot of these students that you have worked with or seen spend a lot of time on social media?
They all spend a lot of time on social media.
What would you say hourly, if you could estimate?
Well, they certainly also have their cell phones even when they are coming to work. Okay. So I can't tell you exactly, but there's certainly, I mean, I don't know how much they browse during their time, because I don't supervise that. But my assumption is, having the phone, that they would be doing it.
Okay. Do you think that individuals who study abroad gain a competitive advantage when looking for jobs? I know that you run your own business as well. When you're hiring, would you consider a international student more advantageous to hire, or?
I think we can't generalize. I think just being an international student, for example, is just, as I said, one facet of it. To me, I would want somebody who has traveled to many countries and had many different experiences, and perhaps had in their background even different universities, as opposed to just a straight, narrow line getting from point A to point B.
Right. Okay, and this is just for you. What sort of type of marketing do you find most effective for yourself? Like, if you were to see some sort of advertisement, like, what would be most effective in grabbing your attention?
For me?
Yeah.
Sorry, if I was looking for...
Like, if you saw marketing material, what would be most effective at grabbing your attention? So it could be like newspaper, like videos, on the TV, on the radio, anything like that.
For me, probably online. I would go on the computer and would be searching and Googling and finding, looking at it from a few different points of view, as opposed to just one.
That makes sense, yeah. That's about it. So thank you for your time.
You're welcome.